Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Urban Libertarian here once again, and I saw an article on Drudge Report. Maybe you guys saw it earlier today. It's about millennials and how they don't like capitalism. It's pretty interesting, really interesting article, and I've been hearing this a lot, and it's just really interesting. So before I even get into it, I mean, I don't know, maybe you could tell by my voice like how old I am, but I'm a product of. I'm not a baby boomer. I'm a product of baby boomers. I think I was born at an interesting time. I'm not quite what's considered a millennial, but I'm on the cusp, which I think they're calling exennials. I'm a Gen X. And it's funny because I'm reading all these things about what they say about millennials, and I swear that's what they were saying about the Gen Xers. They're slackers, they have no purpose, they're lazy, all this shit. But anyway, it's strange because now I'm starting to feel older talking about the generation under me, and it's quite interesting. As I don't know, if you're older, maybe you get it. If you're a Gen Xer, if you grew up in like the 80s and 90s and stuff, and you were around to like really remember those times, you probably know what I'm talking about. Even I don't really remember the 70s that much, but yeah, I just wanted to put that on the side note, where I'm coming from on this. It's really interesting. So this article is titled, "Why Don't Millennials Like Capitalism? Blame Parents, Blame Schools, Blame Obama." And this is written by Frank Dowd IV. Very sophisticated name. And it's from the state. I don't really know much about this. Maybe in the comments somebody can leave me a message like what kind of newspaper, magazine, whatever this is. But this guy writes an interesting article. I don't really agree with it completely, but he's got the right idea. So let's read this. So, as a society, we've done millennials a disservice. An entire generation of young people in America came of age during a decade of sluggish economic growth, and as a result, many are skeptical of free enterprise and capitalism. But I don't know. When I was a kid, didn't the 70s and 80s kind of suck for the economy? I thought that was like a really shit time. So I feel that there's a lot of like, oh, blame other people. It's almost like this writer is falling into the hands of the whole millennial of like, don't blame yourself. But anyway, no self-responsibility. So a stunning 2016 Harvard University survey of young adults between the ages of 18 and 29 found that 51% of respondents do not support capitalism. That is fucking huge. That is ginormous. 51% of people 18 to 29. This is a Harvard study. Now, if I guess that's a pretty big school. I used the Harvard study in, I think, my last video talking about the media bias towards Trump. Harvard sometimes full of shit, but sometimes these studies are right. I mean, if this is right, this is no bueno. This is really bad. Bad news, America. Bad news. 51%. I mean, they do not support capitalism. So what's the other choice? Communism? Like, what? I don't think they know what the fuck they're talking about. So, moving on, and it just talks about Bernie Sanders. So, during the Obama years, the 18 to 29 age group heard countless presidential speeches rallying against the evils of crony capitalism. President Obama told impressionable young voters, if only the rich paid more taxes, everyone would be better off. Huh. Yeah, but I grew up during I remember Bill Clinton was saying the same shit. Clinton was saying the same shit. That's why I didn't like Bill. I didn't like Obama. But Obama's tax and spend policies produced a predictably stagnant economy that stifled economic opportunity for young people. Well, I mean, that's very simple. I mean, also that we're based on a fiat currency and that the dollar keeps getting less and inflation keeps rising. And the rise of offshoring to China and India, a lot had to do with the shit economy. But, during Clinton, allegedly the economy supposedly improved. The economy can only improve so much when you do have a debt-based currency, which we have. That being said, the economists say that the economy improved during the Clinton era. So I don't really know what the difference between the Obama and Clinton era was. Again, if you know, leave the comments, because What I'm trying to do right now is trying to see what the difference between Gen X and millennials, because I grew up during, I don't know how to not grew up. Well, I mean, we had it was like the Reagan years and then Bill, and then I guess the millennials kind of had what, like the Bush years and then Obama. I mean, it's kind of like similar. It's a Republican then Democrat. We didn't really have too much wars in the 80s though. And the Obama agenda also attacked the notion of personal responsibility. Ouch. That is not good. Killed on the altar of universal rights. I just did air quotes. And the politics of victimhood. The left preached that everyone has a right to free childcare, free health care, a free college education, and a roof over their head. And that the state will provide no matter what. So there's no need to save. No need to work hard or pay mortgage or student loans. I mean, so Obama sold them. So basically what it sounds like is Obama sold millennials this socialist communist utopia. And it makes zero fucking sense if you stop drinking the fluoride water and don't use fluoride toothpaste and clear your head against, I don't know, take a walk or something and just break out, take a fucking red pill and splash some cold water on your face. Dude, you cannot not work, have the government pay your student loans, your fucking mortgage. Remember that? Remember that famous, there was a black woman when Obama was elected during his inauguration. She was like, Obama's going to pay my bills. Or she was going to pay my mortgage. I think she said it was going to pay my mortgage or something. So, you know what this reminds me of? Oh, who was it? He made a, oh my God, he made a, it's a movie about utopia. He made the Obama movie that talks about how Obama's dad is really Frank Marshall Davis, born in Hawaii. Again, if you guys know, leave it in the comments. I can't think off the top of my head, but he made a great movie about like utopia, and he shows people coming in the country and they just don't work and they just keep, and then there's the hardworking people in America, and people just keep taking the entitlements, and then eventually it just collapses. So my point is, there's no way you can have a centralized government that controls all the wealth and everything and just distributes cash or gives you free education. Like, what are the college professors going to do? Work for free? Are they slaves? They have to get paid. Everybody needs to get paid for their work. Fucking ridiculous, millennials. What the fuck are you thinking? But I get it though. When I was younger, I leaned a bit, people called me a liberal, which in a sense I am to some degree. I did grow up in California, and I have, I guess, liberal views. That you could call them classical liberal. That's what I describe myself sometimes. A lot of people ask me that, and yeah, libertarian, classical liberal, paleo conservative, whatever. It's like a hybrid. I don't know, but you damn sure, I'm not a fucking communist nor a socialist, because that shit does not work. Look at Venezuela. So now the purple is what I thought the author really hit home on. So he says, this is also the first generation raised by helicopter parents who did their part. However well-intentioned to undermine personal responsibility, too many of today's parents do everything for their children and shield them from learning life's hard lessons. And I don't know. I don't really know that many young people, and I wasn't a parent, but I remember when I was graduating high school that, yeah, it was starting to change, and I really remember they handed out these, I remember in English class, they handed out politically correct speech, and I just ripped into it. They wanted me to call short people vertically challenged. And I told the teacher, I'm like, I think, honestly, that's more offensive. And I think I asked somebody if it was like a short girl, and I straight up, and that's just my personality. I'm like a kid without a filter, especially in high school. Fuck, And I was like, hey, you're short. Do you want me to call you short or vertically challenged? And she didn't like being called vertically challenged. So I already pointed out the bullshit right from the beginning when they started that shit. Continuing on. So then they went off to higher educational system that produces an oversupply of white-collar soft science and humanities majors, many of whom have no marketable skills. Now, I actually have one of those stupid degrees. I have a degree in Asian studies, and yeah, I'm really good about stuff like that. So when I talk about North Korea, yeah, because I lived over there. Well, not North Korea, in the South. But I really do know what I'm talking about because I did study that, and whoa, I went to college for it. I mean, who really? It doesn't matter, but if it has any kind of air of fucking knowing what the fuck I'm talking about, because I know I cuss a lot and kind of jimble jamble, and it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do. Um, I admit, I mean, I kind of had some of this. I'm a product of. I feel very millennially in that respect with college, but I figured it out, and I'm making my way. Uh, Continuing on, not able to put their expensive educations to use. Thank God my education was expensive. They became unemployed and underemployed, which a lot of people are. It's not just millennials, like fucking everybody. I think that's what I wanted, my point. But especially millennials, it seems. But being highly educated yet working at Starbucks, waiting tables, or living in your mom's basement can indeed make you cynical about the benefits of hard work and free enterprise. And no, I do not live in my mom's basement. That cynicism was also fueled. See, this is where I get it. Like, I don't. It makes you sinister against capitalism. I get it, but this is where I kind of. That cynicism was also fueled by the very humanities and social sciences courses they took in college. See, and I remember because I rebelled against. They taught me a bunch of horse shit in college. I could figure it out, and that's probably. I know for a fact that I did not get the grades that I deserved because I did challenge a lot of the theories in my humanities courses. I don't really want to get into it, but yeah, I understand what they're talking about. But it's up to you to resist it. You have to have a strong mind and call it bullshit when you see it. But if you're too brainwashed, you can't. If you just got to break out of it. The curriculum of too many educational institutes is rooted in anti-capitalist socialist philosophies, and it's true that paint free enterprise is inherently unfair. And I mean, it's true. There are crony capitalism sucks, and I get why people rebel against it, but communism is not the answer. In fact, our very founding principles of freedom of assembly and freedom of speech are under withering attack on politically correct university campuses all across America, and that is so true, especially the Evergreen College. What the fuck? That is the most racist, ridiculous shit I've ever heard of. That is ridiculous. That Evergreen College shit, holy fuck. I mean, up is down, and it's like 1984. It doesn't make any sense. They want segregation. It's like, no. The progressives, the liberals of like the 60s and 70s fought for integration. Now they're trying to segregate themselves. It's fucked up. And if you don't want to be segregated, you're a racist. I mean, what the hell? And here's the main part of the whole article. But capitalism and free enterprise, not socialism and welfare, have proven to be the key to prosperity and reducing global poverty and equality. Look at Venezuela. Look at fucking North Korea. As recently as 1980, the World Bank estimated that 50% of the global population lived in abject poverty. I have seen that a lot in some countries that I've been to, and yeah, it's not. We have it pretty good here. When it comes to poverty. We have the fattest poor people in the world. It's amazing. But with the collapse of the Soviet communism in 1988 came the global spread of free market institutions, abetted by freer flows of international trade and private capital. By 2015, the World Bank estimated that less than 10% of the world's population was living in extreme poverty. Capitalism has demonstrably improved the lives and general welfare of millions of people. And at the end, socialism certainly not the answer to America's woes. I mean, the bottom line. So, if you're a Bernie supporter, I mean, look, I'm not going to totally, I get it, especially if you're younger, because that's what I kind of leaned towards too when I was maybe 18 to like 23. Yeah, it was very short-lived. But even then, I was still not quite a liberal. I was definitely more of a libertarian. You have to realize that it's not going to work, that you are not entitled to anything. I mean, you are entitled to the right of life, liberty, and happiness, but not at the expense of others. You have to earn it. Freedom isn't free. I don't know what else to tell you, but socialism just does not work. It sounds great and all. It doesn't work. And if you want to debate me on that, you think I'm wrong, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. That's about it. Thanks for watching.